Hey guys, this video is going to be about how they trick you to hide your indigenous Negro heritage. I'm going to say this again. This video is about of how they try to frustrate, confuse, lie to you, put your mind in a maze to hide you from your indigenous Negro identity, heritage. Okay? So first off, we're going to start off with the name Papua. The name Papua is a borrowing from Portuguese derived from a local indigenous term of uncertain original meaning. Etymologists and historians generally attribute the word to one of the three primary theories regarding its Southeast Asian roots. First, the Malay theory. It is widely thought to come from the Malay word Puepua, right? Puepua, which translates to curly or frizzy hair, referring to the indigenous Melanesian population. The ternate Tidori theory. According to naturalists like Alfred Russel Wallace and regional traditions, the origins traces back to the Tudor language phrase Papua, meaning not united or not coalesced. This describes a far away, ununited region outside the control of the Sultanate. The Biak theory. Another regional explanation points to the Biak language phrase Sup Abwaba, meaning the land below the sunset. The name was first recorded in European cartography when Portuguese explorer George de Menezes landed on the island in 1526, referring to the region as Ilhas dos Papuas, island of the Papuans. For further etymological and historical context, you can explore the Wiktionary Papua entry. Sorry, guys. All right. So, from what I found, or what I translated, this is a Malay word. All right. So we're gonna search for Tiduri. Tiduri is Indonesia. Is also Indonesia word, right? So we're gonna put the Malaysian map, right? Show you the map of Malaysia. Remember, Malaysia is right there. Indonesia is right here, right? So now we're gonna show you Papuan people. Right? Now we're going to show you Malaysia NEGROS. Semang. They're called NEGRITOS. Right? Alright. Now, here's the part where they're kind of tricking you. So, when we type in the indigenous peoples of Southeast Asia, right? Okay, now I gotta press it again. Wait, who are the, right? Now go type it again. Enter again. The AI doesn't wanna. Who is indigenous to Southeast Asia? Alright, there we go. Indigenous Southeast Asians comprise over 1,000 distinct groups categorized into three major ancient waves. Negrito hunter-gatherers, the earliest inhabitants. Austroasiatic peoples like the Mon and Khmer. And Austronesian seafarers. Okay? So So you have the Semang Snoi, Arang asleep, the Negrito, right? And the Negritos of the Andaman Islands, the dark, really dark people with the short peppercorn hair who shoot bow and arrows to protect their land. The Aita people in Philippines. They have Austroasiatic people, right? And Austronesian, right? They also include the Papuan, the Fijian, Papuan people, right? Melanesians, right? So, Negritos, right? So, Negritos they say Negritos are indigenous to Southeast Asia. Right? Now, they include, some, Papuan groups. I mean, some Melanesian groups, which are the Papuans that are in Indonesia. See, watch this. But if I say, are all Melanesians indigenous to Southeast Asia? No, all Melanesians are not indigenous to Southeast Asia. Although they share a deep ancestral history connected to the region, Melanesians are the indigenous peoples of Melanesian region, an arc of Pacific islands including New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and Fiji Islands. Right? So they only say certain Papuan groups and Negritos are indigenous, right? So if you didn't know, Negritos means little black people, right? Melanesian means, right? Greek words, black Nizos island, right? So I want to show you the trick that they're doing. So remember, right? Remember, our race is Negro. Negroes grow afro hair, have a Negro face, which is wide nose, full lips, light to brown skin, and the rest, right? So, hold up, guys. Power went out. Okay. Yeah, my bad, guys. The power had went out for a second. I don't know if y'all can still hear me, but yeah. So yeah, like here's where they trick you, right? So they say the indigenous people are the Negritos. But, right, we know Negritos means little black people. However, the other Melanesians, the other black groups like the Melanesians, like the Fijians, the Solomon Island people, they are called Melanesian. However, if you notice, right, we type in Aita people, right? Okay, guys. Okay, something's wrong with my network. Okay. Yep. Give me a second. Dang, the power literally went out. Alright. So the Aita people, right? If I go to images, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, they're not black because they have Australian. They don't look black, right? They don't look black, right?" Look at this. This woman has an afro. He has an afro. Right? Just type afro. Look at that. She looks like the actress Kimberly Elise. right? Same face. Look at that. Same face, just different nose. And she's taller. Same exact, like, let's put afro. You look at this. Same exact face. But she's a Negro and she's black, but she can't be black because she's from the Philippines. Come on now, right? I've seen plenty of people that put 42 Doug, right? Let's get a Monique person. Monique people. Dreads. I couldn't find a pic, but you don't tell me this look like 42 Doug. It'd be, this man look like 42 Doug. Should we could do Ben 10? Whoever you want. Ben 10 rapper. Ben 10. He looked like Ben 10. Right? So, I'm saying, right? There's no difference between her and her. They're both Negroes, right? They're both Negroes. She just categorized as an American Negro, and she's a Filipino Negro. Now, but they call her Negrito because she's little. But they're both Negro. There's 42 Doug is called Negro, but he's short as you know what. He's 5'1". That's a pygmy height. No offense. But he's classified as Negro here. She's classified as a Negrito. Now we're gonna do Henry Spate, the Fijian rugby player, right? He's classified as black and Melanesian. Fijian. He's classified as black, but American. She's not classified as black. She's classified as Negro, Negrito. So you get what I'm saying? They call Melanesians are black islanders. They call Negritos, little black people. They call us Negroes. But we're all Negroes. So, like, for example, there's an island in the Philippines called Negros, right? The Negros Island. And the third most populous island in the Philippines, right? Negros is one of the many islands of the Visayas in the central part of the country. The predominant inhabitants of the island in the region are mainly called NEGRITOS, right? Right? We'll see what they showed there, right? Locally, NEGROSANS, right? So, we're going to see what they show, right? We're going to see who they classify, right? Negros was originally called Bugas, an old Visayan word meaning cut off. The regional native lands are the Ati Negritos. See how they trick you? They're still Negro. They are still Negro. It don't matter if they're Negrito, they're still Negro. Right? There's another island. Right? In Malaysia. I forgot the word what. Yeah. Okay, I lost the other source, but hold up a second, guys. Okay, it's called Nusa Penida, right? Guess what? Nusa Penida, right? It's called Black Island, right? So, meaning So historically, before becoming a popular tourist destination, Nusa Penida was feared by the Balinese. The legend is believed the domain of Mekling Bali's demon king and his invisible army. Right? It's called the Black Magic Island. Right? So Nusa Penida is nicknamed Black Magic Island. Right? But what's Melanesia called? Melanesia means Black Island. Right? So what I'm saying is, right? There's no difference between a Negrito and a Negro. They're the same person. It's just one is shorter, and the other one can be short or tall. Now, let's get to the indigenous people of Indonesia, right? Indigenous people of Indonesia. Right? So now they're going to say Javanese, Sudanese, Maturi, Batik, Melanesian, right? But watch this. Oldest indigenous group in Indonesia is look, the India's earliest populations include the Melanesian people, right? Papua, right? So, right? We're gonna type in the Danny. Right? Negros. They grow afro hair. That looks like my granddad, right? He's just shorter. My granddad's 6'4". Right? So Danny tribe height. They're usually 5 feet. Like I said, they're average of 5 feet. Remember, they're categorized as Negros. They're not categorized as Negritos. They're called Papuans. We learned Papuans are Negros, right? And there's an island in Philippines called Negro Island. But the people of Philippines, indigenous, they're called Negritos. But these people, they're short too. This man looks like my same face as granddad, but he's probably like 5'1". My granddad 6'4". You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying they're tricking you right there. They're both Negro, right? Now let's go to the Indonesian map. Right? So remember, we go to the map. Remember, you got Papua New Guinea right here, and then you got South Papua, right? North Maluku, Sulawesi, the entire Indonesia, right? But watch this. We go to the other map. It shows you the entire map of Indonesia. All of the orange is Indonesia, and is bordered to Papua New Guinea, right? So you see the trick. Papua New Guinea is the Papuan island, right? But the indigenous people of Indonesia is the Dani and other Papuan groups and Negrito groups. So really, the Papuans are the indigenous of the entire Indonesia. So Indonesia is really Papua New Guinea. Oh, my bad. Indonesia is really Papua New Guinea is really part of Indonesia. It became New Guinea when they kicked all the Guineans out of Indonesia and they formed their own island, right? And then the rest of the New Guineans, right? Or the Negros, right? The rest of the New Guineans or Negros, because that's what they are, Negros, went to the islands, right? Oh, map. Right? The rest of the New Guineans went to the islands. They went to Solomon Islands, went to Nauru, Marshall Islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, Fiji's on the right somewhere, right? They went to the other islands and formed Melanesia, right? But they all descended from Indonesia, because that's where the indigenous Negroes are New Guineans came from, right? But guess what? Here's how they trick you again. So the indigenous people of Philippines are Negritos, which they say are different from Papua New Guinea people who are Negroes. But what y'all don't understand is they have an island called Negros. Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, right? Negros Island, region island. You got Negros, Sequajor, Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, right? All names named after Negro, right? Got the Calamine Islands, which is black, which means black islands, right? Let me see where it says it, so you don't think I'm black island, right? Black Island local, right? Black Island locally known as Malajon Island, right? Malajon is Black Island, right? So they taught you that Melanesia was the only black island, but it's not, right? You got the Malajon Island, you got the Nusa Penida Island in Indonesia, right? So right, look, they say the Negritos are indigenous to the Philippines. They say the Manik are indigenous to Thailand. They say the Orang Asli are indigenous Negritos of Malaysia. Right? But the Papuans, they're only indigenous to Papua New Guinea, and the rest of the New Guineans are indigenous to the Pacific Islands, which is Melanesia. But what they tricked you with is there's no difference between a Negrito from Philippines, a Negrito from Thailand, a Negrito Malaysia, and a Papuan or a Fijian. There's no difference. They're all Negroes. All of them were part of. What I'm saying is all of them came from Negros Island, right? Because they're all Negroes. So they were all in these lands, right? We're gonna get to Vietnam and Laos in a different video, but they're all from these lands. Basically, they try to trick you saying that Negritos are only from here, and Negritos are from Thailand, Negritos from Malaysia, and and some Negritos are in Indonesia, and then there's some Papuans in Indonesia, but majority of Papuans come from Papua New Guinea, and then the other Papuans went to the islands, but they're all not related to the Negrito, but they're all Negro. I just showed you a picture of beautiful Kimberly Illici, American Negro actor, and an Aita woman. Only difference is she's like 4'11", and she's maybe 5'8", right? They're both Negroes. So you get it? They tricked you with the Negrito, Papuan. They tricked you. They're all Negroes. They all are indigenous to Southeast Asia, everywhere. So I'm saying is, right, if Negritos are on an island called Negros, and the Papuans, they're literally next to the island, and they're in Indonesia, and we all know Papuans are Negroes too, then they were all in the same lands at one point. All right, and that's it. I'm out.